The Lunalight archetype has seen some better days in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I will be completely honest with you. Like, they have been slapped around by Konami on the ban list. However, there are those brave souls among the community who have refused to give up on the free-to-play dream. Enter this current deck list. Now, this was shown to me by a member of the community. He goes by Lord God on Twitch, he goes by Human on Discord, and he made this really cool deck list that is very, very viable and keeps Lunalights relatively free to play. Let's talk about it. Now, the Lunalight monsters are all obtainable from the Judgment Force main box as per usual. Now, for the free to play build, ordinarily you'd want to go through the box just once, but for this composition to work, you will need to go through it, I would say 1.5 times to get another copy of Sage and another copy of Martin. That's relatively straightforward, and most Lunalight players have already done that. So if you were playing the deck before the ban list and you're looking for a way to play, this could be viable for you. Or if you just want to play the deck and build it after the ban list, this is just a strategic guide on how to use your gems. So that's that. Now, the Blue-Eye Spirit Dragon is obtainable in 2 structure decks, which will in total cost 2,000 because they're EX structure decks, so each one costs 1,000 a pop. You can go with just one though. According to him, it does work with just one, but 2 are in there for consistency, just to make sure you're able to get that back row disruption and use the effective Sage. The benefit of it being in a structure deck is that it's a guaranteed purchase. You know for a fact that if you spend 1,000 gems, you will get this card. So rather than digging through a main box or a mini box, just gambling, trying to get it, spending anywhere upwards of just thousands, and you can just have it, it's yours. You also see Temperance within this deck. You can get Temperance by dueling against Sartorius and just beating him a couple of times. It's one of his drop rewards when farming him, so that's also completely free to play. And you can get regular Karibo by using SR tickets, which means that aspect of the deck is free as well. We're using regular Karibo over Sphere Karibo, one because it's more cost friendly, but also because it lets us OTK our opponents. When Sphere Karibo is used, it puts your opponents in defense position when they declare an attack, which means that, you know, the Fox combo where you OTK, that doesn't really work anymore because they're not in attack position. So that actually goes really, really well. The same goes for Temperance. Now, the interesting composition to this deck, what makes this a little bit different, is the fact that we are using Sage and the Dragon Spirit of White. Sage is really, really good because it can send any effect monster to the graveyard and summon a Blue Eyes monster from the deck. The Blue Eyes monster that we're using here is Dragon Spirit of White in order to clear our opponent's back row, get rid of the disruption, but that also allows us to send Lunalight cards to the graveyard and use their effects. You can use Sage to send a Fox to the graveyard and reduce your opponent's attack to 0. You can make basically all of the places you ordinarily would, while also being able to get a decent sized beater on the field and getting rid of your opponent's back row before you have to commit and invest in your Lunalight plays. It's very, very good. In a situation where your opponent isn't summoning Synchro or XYZ or just any extra deck monsters for you to use, you use Temperance and you use Karibo to almost stall for time, which isn't too new for the deck, right? Now, like I said, this deck list came from a member of the community, Lord God, and according to him, he has seen outstanding success with it in the legend rank, so it's been going very, very well. It's a very strong deck list. You'll note, a friend of mine, iGalaxy, released a video recently where he also had a Lunalight deck list that works. He included Ritual Beasts, and it was pointed out to me that that is an extremely good way to play the deck, but this keeps it a bit more free to play friendly, so I wanted to highlight it. I wanted to showcase it in what will be somewhat of a series that we do on the channel called Community Corner, where we showcase the deck list of members of the community, interesting things and builds that they've decided to do. So I've also got some gameplay from him. Before we move on to the gameplay section, however, there are a few things that he wanted me to mention. Outside of the Lunalight monsters that you see, the extra deck monsters are not essential. They were rarely used as he was climbing. It was just something to add in there that is also relatively, and I say relatively, free-to-play friendly. If you don't have those cards though, don't worry about it because you could quite literally go in without them and still generally be fine. Another thing that he mentioned is that in an instance where he needs to stall for time, say he's bricked, he'll just set a Martin on the field and use his hand traps to dance around a Destiny draw, which, again, somewhat standard for Lunalights at times, even before the nerf. Also, somewhat standard because Crimson Fox has been limited for a while, but he pointed out that in an instance where he's run out of Crimson Foxes, he will just use Saber Dancer as one of the materials and gain that nice 3,000 attack point boost, so that's not bad in the slightest. And the last thing to note is that in this deck list that you're looking at, well, Martin is at 3, Martin and Emerald Bird were both limited, and so he opts to go with Martin in most situations. However, if he's looking to OTK a bit easier, he does switch out one Martin for one Emerald Bird for the purposes of tributing, getting into the OTK with a lot more ease, with a lot more fluidity. So that's something to keep in mind. If you like Emerald Bird, you can use it in a build like this. This is just an idea to get you going, something that he tried out that really worked, and that as a member of the community decided to share with everyone. So have at this, enjoy yourself. Please enjoy the gameplay. If you do find this video helpful or enjoyable or just useful to you as a Lunalight player, share it with a friend who might enjoy it too, and consider liking and subscribing, because we're going to make decklist videos about other things that members of the community submit, but also just fun Duel Links content. So yeah, bye.